Good evening, and welcome to another vitriolic version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your vexing and venting host, Voice of Doom. Hello. Alright, I wasn't even going to do a diatribe, but I can't sleep right now, so I figured I'd talk, give you a little bit of my wisdom. I was just thinking about a lot of things. The placard that I hold up, made it 5 years ago. It's all coffee stained. Same old thing, same old intro. No variations anymore, no bumper music, no banter with imaginary introducers, who didn't exist. Just no more of the comedy that I used to be known for, which nobody knows about. But I figured, lots of things are going on, but nothing different from yesterday or the day before. So I talk a little bit about my life right now, a bit about the microcosm. I started a new job back in mid-April or so, and it was a different kind of a place than I'm used to working in. But I was hired as a server, which offered a decent starting point from which to start a new job. It's not like I had to work my way up from dishwasher like I've done on every other job I've worked in. And those dishwashers are good, man. They wash a lot of dishes, but it's a new kind of restaurant. And I'm not used to it because it's kind of 21st century-ish. And I won't mention any names, and I won't mention what company I work for, but everything's computerized. And I was intimidated by that 3 weeks ago. And I was intimidated by the size and scope of what that place had to offer. Way more than I'm used to, and way more rules, you might say. I'm used to being the pilot of my own soul. When I master a job somewhere, I pretty much do what I want. And maybe that might have been bad, because I did things that put my job in jeopardy every day, and I got away with it. But this new one is intimidating, and I am mastering it, and I know that I'm going to be able to be one of the best that they've ever had there. But I'm not going to go into details about why or what I see going on there. Just know I've been on the planet a while. I've been working in restaurants for about 50 years, off and on, but mostly on. So I just kind of know what people are thinking. I know what they want when they go out to dinner. And I know what people look at and notice that other people may not notice. Who knows? But I'm not going to go into that, because objective reality is objective reality, and I am just going to keep trying my best and let objective reality play out, and we'll see what happens. But after being intimidated by a huge menu and a huge computerized bureaucracy, I think I got it down pretty good. And at the rate I'm going to be very good, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm glad to be working, and I can work as much as I want. If I want to, I can work every single day because just the way it's set up. And so things are looking up on that note, but I'm doing my budget, and I'm just going to have to keep struggling for the rest of my life, and that's depressing. I'm never going to reach a point where I could set aside $10,000 to go to Europe for 3 weeks and just sit in a cafe in Italy, in a village, and sip a good Chianti and have some antipasto or something. I don't know, but I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, I have lived all over, so you can't say that I've, been deprived. I was born in Seattle, a beautiful city, beautiful state. I was raised in Hawaii, a beautiful city, a beautiful state, a beautiful island chain. And I saw things that people would never see, no matter how hard they try, no matter how much money they have. They're not going to see the things I've seen because I was at the right place at the right time. And that means being on the big island of Hawaii in the year 1980, say it's 85, I would say. When I was over there hobnobbing with my buddies, and Kilauea went off, and we say, let's go to the volcano. So we drive over to Volcanoes National Park in the middle of the night, and there's cops and everything else there saying park, and it's that way. You got to park here because there's so many damn cars. And we walked about 1.5 miles to the volcano house, which is on the rim of the Kilauea caldera, which I've hiked through. Me and my buddies used to go hiking around the rim, or we go down into the caldera and just walk across. So I've done some pretty interesting things, but when we got to the volcano house, we looked over the railing, and I saw something that I will never forget. I saw a volcano in full action. And when I say volcano, I mean, it wasn't a big explosion going up from a cone. It was a caldera of fire. It was a lake of fire. And there was fire waterfalls coming down off the mountaintop, and there was fire rivers coming through the crevices, and there was a few spoutings of eruptions of ash and lava being spewed up a few hundred feet in the air. And it was like those paintings that you don't really believe are real about Pele, the volcano goddess of Hawaii. And she's superimposed on this volcanic eruption. It's like, you gotta see it, man. And most people will never get to see that. So I consider myself lucky. I don't mind that I'm not in Italy or maybe Germany even, and go see a, Beethoven concert or something. I don't know. But my initial thesis is it's hard to keep up on the damn bills. And that just gets up into the infrastructure and into the bureaucracy and into everything that's made this planet crappy. Because no matter how much I try, there's always something else coming along. I mean, I got to come up with like 3,000, maybe 25 to 3,000 a month just to survive on my bills, food, gas, utilities, mortgage, insurance, car payment. It adds up real fast to 3,000. And it's hard to come up with that every single month, and then you have nothing left. So you squander a few dollars and you're behind a little more. And then you try to figure out ways to borrow so that you can continue. And it's getting really ponderous and tiresome. And I bet dollars to donuts that I'm not the only person on this planet who is in the same boat. And some are in even worse boats because they're willing to have themselves smuggled into this country for God knows what reason, thinking life is going to be better here. Saw a bunch of footage about people being smuggled in lumber trucks and they're being nailed in behind panels in panel trucks, and they're like in a small space. And there's 9 or 10 of them in a truck, and they're willing to do it. Now, I don't even understand. How bad is it in their country that they be willing to come here behind wood in a panel truck when they have about 1 foot of space, and they're standing up in the hot 100-degree weather, being driven through Texas, only to get arrested? I don't understand it, but something's going on, and it just ties in with all the things going on now. The conclave is going on, and here's where the rubber hits the road, because either they're going to come up with white smoke or black smoke, and I'm predicting black smoke for I don't know how long, and then I'm predicting, and I'm going to say this and go out on a limb and say something major just to end this diatribe, that I think there's probably going to be an incident at the conclave in the next 2 or 3 days, as they're not able to reach a decision. And I don't know why, but I believe in prophecies to a certain extent, and St. Malachi said there would be no more popes after Francis. So we'll see what happens, but if there's an incident, let's just say an incident that is a major 9/11, where terrorists somehow gets into the Vatican during the conclave and causes a ruckus, then things will get interesting, won't they? I could talk more. I just talked about the microcosm. I wanted to get it off my chest because it's very, hard to talk about your personal life. But I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I think I can do good at this new job, but I'm 66. And what am I going to do? Be schlepping around drinks and plates of food when I'm 75 or 80? Because the dishes are heavy. I mean, it's the little things that, there's very heavy glasses and heavy dishes. And I just don't have the upper body strength for it much longer. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, I'm doing better than I was a month ago. That's for damn sure. Because a month ago I was unemployed and I didn't know where I was going to get money to do anything. So I'm reasonably happy there, and I'll just leave it there. I'm sorry I bored you with my personal idiocy, but I gotta throw a little in there. Some people like the microcosm, and everybody's microcosm is a reflection of the macrocosm, so you gotta kind of try to improve your life. Do human revolution and do your best, because if everybody does that, we'd have a better planet. It's obvious. It's not that hard to understand. But I'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you next time. We'll talk about politics a bit after this. All right, have a good one, and enjoy your life.